The Bureau XCOM Declassified is the third reimagining of the XCOM franchise. This time it's purely third-person shooter, but it also has a lot of tactical aspects built into it.
We've always been working on this version of the XCOM game as essentially an origin story of the XCOM universe. It's been, how do we really realize the tenets of the XCOM universe? How do we have the feeling of tactics, tools, team, terror, tension? And every iteration of the game has been us trying to get one step closer to bringing those all to light on the screen.
At first blush, the Bureau feels like a third-person shooter, but once you sink into the game and start playing it, you realize it has this really neat tactical level on top of it. What happens is you press a button, it slows down time, and it allows you to issue very specific commands to your two agents who are always going to be running shotgun with you. So you can tell them where you want them to move, who you want them to target, and whether or not they should be using any of their special abilities.
As you're selecting characters, you have the opportunity to customize them, and there's training that you can select. They have perks that you can choose to equip your characters with. You can also customize them. You can change their names. If you wanted to name them after your friends or your enemies, you can totally do that. And also change what they're wearing. We try to give you a lot of options so that these guys feel like they're yours, and the way you're playing on the battlefield is the way you want to play.
The Bureau brought a lot over from XCOM, but there are a couple things it didn't bring over. Most notably is multiplayer. There's not going to be any multiplayer in this game.
If the principal tenet of the XCOM experience that we wanted to bring is that feeling of being in command of your team, you got to be in command of your team. And so if Enemy Unknown allowed you to kind of be the coach, telling all your players what to do, and they say, yes, commander, but you're not really in it doing it, we wanted you to feel like you were both there and in control. And single player with the battle focus mode felt to us like the best way to realize that promise.
Artificial intelligence in this game is a big deal because they're not allowing co-op play. There are always going to be two characters with you that are driven by AI. Sure, you can tell them what to do, but ultimately they rely on that AI to figure out how to do it and how to keep doing it. Keeping in mind that this is not the final release of the game, I did run into some weird issues where the AI was acting a little goofy. Ultimately, what I saw wasn't a big problem. It was just some minor issues with AI, so I think the game will be fine when it releases.
We feel like we've captured the idea of being a field commander, having your boots on the field, essentially being that combat quarterback where you're in command of your team, making tactical plays and executing them in real time. We feel like this is a game that lives up to the promise of the XCOM universe and is going to be a great experience for people.
My time spent with the game made me feel like it's a sort of game I'd like playing. I enjoyed the fact that it blended shooter with RTS, and I felt like there was just enough XCOM there to satisfy that itch, while just enough third person to make it feel like a new and fun experience. If they can pull off those final polishes, and if they deliver a game that feels like it is sort of crossing over between a solid third person shooter and a solid RTS, and they find an audience that likes that, I think they're going to have a big hit on their hands.